Hey everybody, I am Cinnamon Cooney, the Art Sherpa, and today I'm so excited on day 12 of Sherpaween, here in the 13 days of Halloween, to be painting this gorgeous, fluffy, adorable, magical cat with you. This is a 2-hoop painting. I'm going to explain it step by step for beginners, all the techniques, all the information. If you check the description below, there's a link to our website, and on that website is the grid map that will help you draw this in if you're not familiar with drawing. There's also Traceable. If you're like, heck no, I want to have fun painting today and I don't want to draw, that's there available for you. A step-by-step, which I highly recommend that you grab because it's going to really help you be clear about where we are in the progression of the painting and make your beginner experience a lot more fun, a lot more easy. There's extra links, information, everything from you've never painted before to you need to know how to do a traceable. It's all there and really set up for you. So this is the day that you are going to have a great painting experience. On top of that, on top of us helping you paint a fantastic fluffy kitty, we're going to help you have a really great time today. And today you're going to leave this painting session just feeling better and being excited and loving your creative journey. On the mic is my husband, John.
I was expecting. Hello.
I like to catch him by surprise. Is my husband, John. We like to call him Stunt Hands. He helps us in this goal of helping you paint your paintings by tracking me with one of our mini cameras. They're robotic. They're going to zoom in. You're going to see the color mixes. You're going to see the brush strokes. You're going to see everything that you need. He's looking for questions. If you have questions, put those all in caps. If the moderators already know the answer, they may send you directly to the video that covers your question. But you never know. Your question might be asked live on the show. If you're here for the replay, definitely tell us in the comments below what your favorite part of the video is. And if you're still here, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. It really helps the channel. You guys ready to jump on in?
Absolutely.
All right, let's get in and do this guy. Oh, I love this. So here's our materials. It's a pretty simple palette today so far. We have black here. This is carbon black, but you can use Mars black. I'm using Artist Loft Level 3 paint and Sunlayer acrylic today, and I think a little golden. So we've got titanium white, phthalo green, phthalo blue. You have cad yellow medium, quinacridone magenta, and dioxazine purple. Over here, you see this fabulous, furry, cute, adorable subject. I like him. You like him. We're going to paint him today. Remember to get your step-by-step, your grid, or your traceable. I'll tell you when you're going to be needing each of those. And you can see this is the first step we're going to be getting into for this project. Pretty easy. Now, this is an 11 by 14 surface. The centimeter measurements for that are in the description. I like to put little wishes on the canvas, little intentions, little thoughts, put out into the universe. I use watercolor pencil to do this, and we'll erase that with a little bit of water. But the first one is safety for all who are going through a fire. And also safety and support for the first responders. Everybody involved in that, we want them to stay safe. Then, October is Domestic Violence Awareness Month. So we are wishing for strengths for those that are going through that experience, and support and help from family, from friends, from law enforcement, from community to get out of situations that are not lifting them up. I've said it before. I want to say it again. You have a divine right to feel safe in your home. I'm also asking for strength and for healing and wisdom. If you're a person who's going through your life and you're really fighting with anger issues, I just can't say to you how strongly it is that you can live happier and live healthier. And the statement that really struck me is you got to protect your family, and sometimes you have to protect your family for yourself. And if you reach out and you ask for help, you would be amazed at how much support there is out there. And I think that we turn this around inside of ourselves, and we change the way we speak, and we change the way we respond to stress. And that helps us change how we do. I've done this myself in my life when I was going through a lot with my daughter because she had ADHD and we didn't know it. And I was frustrated and I didn't like how I was responding. And I went and got help. And I have to tell you from experience, I got so much, didn't I, John?
Mm-hmm.
Tons of help. So it's out there. So if you're going through that on the other side of the fence, you can go back to being the hero in your family like I'm sure you want to be. And then also, I'd like to see stronger enforcement of laws and protections. And then finally, as I like to always wish, to be Disney artists. So, Disney, if you hear me, I'm a calling. Don't you want me, Disney? So,
She even sings like a princess.
okay, some kind of princess. Some kind of something. Now, while this is all there, I'm going to take a wet brush and sort of erase the words and put them out there. I really appreciate all these wishes and intentions when they get sent in, and I want you to know that, we read them and we look at them. I grab them from the group in the file section. We don't put them in the main area of the group just because sometimes people are going through something and a thought or an idea can be really triggering or touchstoning. So we try to be aware and curate that experience. But I do think it's important to find that place of optimism in your life. You know what I mean, Jelly Bean?
I do.
After a while, Crocodile? So you will notice that I used blue pencil on the outside and orange pencil on the inside, and that's just to make sure that I'm not adding some crazy color of paint to my canvas that I don't want. First thing that I've got to do is kind of draw a circle. For me, that's always a challenge. I'm going to take a little bit of yellow, and if you look to the top of the canvas, I have a little mark about here, and then I'm going to come right here to the middle and go there. And this is just to help me get a sense of the size of my moon, right? Because sometimes that's a little hard to get. And I'm going to just go around, and I do this until I get a fairly okay circle. If I'm not going to trace over a circular object or a pot lid, this is how I get my circles in. There's a bunch of really cool tricks, though, to get like a perfect circle. But for me, I'm going to take any circle that kind of, works all right, as you would want. I'm going to get a lot of white onto my paintbrush and some yellow. And I'm going to come here and begin to paint in the moon. This is just a first layer. It is not the last layer by any means. It's just going to help us really see our shape and make any adjustments that we need to if we're freehanding a circle in. And I can't tell you how easy it is to get to an oval when you're wanting to do a circle. I am using a number 8 cat's tongue. I'm going to paint more yellow on the right-hand side and more white on the left. Hey, John, I do right from left today. It's a good day. It's a good day when the Sherpa knows right from left. Just blending that in between those two sort of zones of color of value.
It's a big moon day.
It's a big moon day. It's a singing day too, apparently.
Yep.
Weather is good. The power's been stable. I'm in a good mood. I'll go ahead and get that. I might just a little more yellow and just make sure that I feel like I know where my moon is now.
Does it feel like a catter day?
It feels like a catter day. Feels like a catter day. A wonderful all-day painting. Just going.
And
look at that. I got a moon that's somewhat... I got a moon.
So are you using your cat's tongue?
I'm using my cat's tongue on catter day. Maybe that's the thing we do. Saturdays, we paint cats, and we use our cat's tongue to do it. Yeah, this brush even says cat's tongue on it by the Art Sherpa. Woo!
We might call this a cat moon.
Cat moon. I like that.
Although someone was saying in chat here before the show that this kitty looks like an owl cat.
Really? You know what? I agree. What do you remember about the owl cats from the Monster Manual, Mr. DM?
Well, if I remember, the owl cat's a level 30 illusionary monster. Its natural habitat is deep in the Dork Forest.
Well, since you and I live deep in the Dork Forest, it's an ideal pet for us.
Now, you should be aware that this owl cat has special powers. Those are color spray and charm person.
Well, this owl cat charmed me. I'm adding more white over here, and I'm kind of starting to think about how we would paint in that inner moon right there. Can you guys see that? It's just like a little light on the left, a little darker on the right, and we have the basic little moon landscape that I like to do that John likes to tell me isn't the moon.
Well, it's very moon-like. It's definitely a moon.
Oh, he's up.
But
I love him.
But, it's not the moon without Tycho.
What to do? I'm sure Tycho's there.
It's hidden in the shadowy part. Right?
Maybe.
That's what it is.
That's what it is. Whatever you need to do to come up with that I have painted Tycho correctly, I would suggest you do that.
It'll be behind the cat anyway. It won't matter.
That's right. It's hidden behind the cat anyway, so it won't matter.
You don't need to paint it anyway.
So now I wasn't gonna. I'm not new. I'm way past that stage where other people get to like weigh in on the content of my painting. Okay. So I'm going to take a little bit of my phthalo green and a little bit of my phthalo blue. And I'm going to mix them together. And this makes a really fabulous color called phthalo turquoise. You can also buy phthalo turquoise in the tube if you were like, I don't really like mixing paint. That's okay.
He or she does have very talon-like claws.
I'm taking my number 8 cat's tongue. Yes, they do. And I'm going to get a little white into that. And then you're going to just see the turquoise come out of that. And I'm going to begin around this outer defined yellow line, little swirling marks that curve. You see the curve?
I do. This is one of those ones where you're going to have to rotate the surface a lot, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. And I'm going to have to come back and refine the edges too a lot. So it's a whole thing. I'm loading up white and blue, and I'm going to continue to bring these strokes around. I will try to curve them out as I go and just try to imagine that the moon is spinning very fast. Right? And the strokes that you see are the result of that spin. That's how I get that done. And when we come back with our pink into our turquoise, it will help reveal the vortex. Get this out of the way. I like this technique. It is blending free. And blending is fun, but sometimes blending is not fun. So if you're in a day where you're like, blending not my favorite, this is a great painting. And as you can see, I do definitely like to, I'm going to come around here and see if I can't help define my roundness just a little bit. Because I struggle with my moon now.
Roundness is a
challenge in your sky.
You know, it's
tough to mimic billions of years of shaping and gravity and universal forces.
Planets and heavenly bodies are rarely perfectly spherical.
Good, because Sherpa heavenly bodies are rarely perfectly spherical.
It's okay. We don't have. They like to smash into each other, making them sort of wonkety.
Oh, well, celestial bodies do what celestial bodies do.
Gravity tries to smooth it all out, but it just can't get it all.
It really can't. But it tries.
It
tries. And then we watch Kirk's aghast videos about it. You see, I'm just loading up. And one of the things I want you guys to pay attention to, besides getting a drop of water every once in a while, I'm pulling the paint into my brush, and I'll grab some white. It's loosely mixed, but I am loading it well into my brush, which is letting me really, really paint this technique. If you don't have enough paint loaded into your brush, you may find it's a little frustrating. Not as frustrating as not a round moon. I like to show you my frustrating bits and not edit them out, just so you know. You're not alone, yo.
Now, my mom was asking me the other day. I actually
I'm adding a little yellow to my turquoise and a little white while you're telling me about what your mom was asking.
What size cat's tongues do you have?
I have a number 8 and a number 4.
Number 4 and a number 8. I wasn't sure if you had a 2 or a 6.
No, we wanted to do that, but the silver brush would have to make them.
So we may have to do more sizes later.
More sizes later, I imagine. But I do think it needs more sizes. Once, these came into my life, I don't know that I intended to go back to any other kind. It's one of those you never go back moments, right?
Yep.
So I'm just making sure that this part of my turquoise is streaky. You can see I'm coming back with these little color mixes. And it does help it to be streaky and dynamic and implies the vortex, which is what you want. Now I'm going to rinse out thoroughly. thoroughly, thoroughly. And I'm going to come in with a little bit of my magenta this time and some white. See what I'm doing?
I do.
And then I'm going to almost go the opposite way. I'm going to come back curving into my vortex. And as this picks up a little bit of the turquoise, you will see purple mixes just happen on their own. That is okay. That is as it should be. Canvas fighting back the paint. Sometimes canvases do that. They fight that paint. They don't want to take it.
You're going to do some paint wrestling?
Sometimes you got to do some paint wrestling. But what's really important is to bring the stroke in and continue this curve pattern that you have so that it feels like the vortex that it is. Of magic, because he's using that spell John talked about. I didn't even know about that. Then now I know, so I understand where he came from in my mind.
Owlcat.
Owlcat.
Purring deep in the dork forest.
I feel like maybe we need some more owlcat. Owlcat could be seasonal. Should we do a winter owlcat or a Thanksgiving fall owlcat?
I would love to see a snow owlcat.
I could do a snow owlcat for sure. It'd be all holiday themed.
You know, the spring owlcat would shed its winter coat. It would defluffed cat.
Defluffed cat.
In spring. That'll be interesting.
I'm just holding my canvas on its edge to improve my angle and control. I move my surface, not my body, guys. Don't move your body.
You know, I think that owlcat is in the same class of monsters as Hypnotoad.
All right. Here we go.
Everyone agrees, seasonal owlcat, definitely the way to go.
Definitely the way to go. We need more of this, don't we?
Yes, we do. And t-shirts.
But they need to be owl cats. Right?
They're already asking for t-shirts and mugs and hats.
Okay. You guys can have those. I'll put up some
Owlcat
owl cat t-shirts, mugs, and hats. I think I have the ability to put stuff into a specific video, so I think I can even add them specifically here through the new tool set.
Tune back in next time when there's owlcat accessories.
Probably this week.
in the description below.
I got a lot of stuff going on. I'm getting ready to do Baby tomorrow from Supernatural, so I have a lot of pre-arting to do to make sure that what we do really encapsulates how we all feel about Sam Dean and Baby. So
I have to say, the Scooby-Doo episode was awesome.
that is your favorite. One of my favorites.
But
Scooby-Doo, ruh-roh. Actually, that is everything I've ever felt about Scooby-Doo.
yeah.
All right. Here we go. Bring this in here. Just finishing off the spiral. Fun to do. And it takes a little second to do this, but it's so worth it. It's a fun sky. And guess what? We're not even done yet.
This is a really cool effect.
It is a super cool effect. And it deserves your time and your attention to perfect it. You know? And what I find is like this first little pass through, I'm just getting the canvas covered and getting the brush directionality. But then what I like to do is I like to rinse out. What way? Thoroughly.
Thoroughly?
Rinse out thoroughly, and then come back and kind of blend a little bit of the turquoise and color back in. I'm going to get my turquoise on here, a little white, and I'm going to come back through and just make sure that I have interesting little spirally bits. See how cool that is? It's just a little finishing touch. And I think it's important that you know how to get these little finishing touches in a painting, because that's what gives it that yummy, gooey, wonderful feeling. Look at that go. Just spinning, weaving, weaving magic all around him. That's why I was like, this is the glam which is familiar. Right?
It's true.
Because she wouldn't have no boring cat. No black cat. No shade to black cats, man. Black cat owners, you cats are wonderful too. Our cat wonderful, but still wonderful. I gotta learn not to tell those jokes because then you get the internet all upset. Never fun to upset the internet. So anywhere that you need to, make adjustments, you just do that at this time. You can always come in with like a damp brush and
I really like that swirl.
make little tweaks to the swirl. This is the best swirl. Oh, we did it. Step 1 is complete. Check your step by step and you'll go, wow, I did step 1.
You did.
That's always pretty cool. Now I'm going to come back again with my yellow and white as I did before on my cleanest water. I always try to have 2. I don't know if you guys are aware, but I always have 2. So yep. I have a cleaner bit of water somewhere nearby me. I know somebody was like, wait, what? Right in that moment. No idea. I'm coming back with this a bit.
Cleaning up that edge a little.
Cleaning up my edge. Making sure this is light. I'm doing pretty much the same thing, but I'm going to come back with a little bit of my yellow and Quin magenta. And I bring my light color here into the place that John says Tycho is. Whatever. I know I'm doing this right.
It's awesome.
I love giving him grief. Please know we are okay.
Oh, yes.
I'm going to take a little bit of the yellow and the magenta and even some white. And I'm going to come around this back side and we're going to darken some of the space. See how we're doing? Come down this side. And I like to get a little white on there. And I'm going to come here and I'm going to add some of these little dark spots in the moon. Now, I know we have a lot of kitty fluff over, what we're doing. And so you might be feeling like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just going to paint right over it. You don't really know exactly sometimes when you're new where your kitty's going to be. So painting complete layers can be helpful for you. As you get more familiar with where you want things, you may be like, oh no, I got it. I just added some more yellow. And see that's making more orange. And we're just creating those little moon shapes. Sometimes people like sponges. Get their little moon shapes or saran wrap. I just like to paint booger. Paint boogers are the little bits of dried paint that just show up.
They happen.
They happen. Paint boogers. That should be a whole shirt. Paint boogers happen.
You have to make 2 shirts for this episode.
So many shirts to make. And I have lessons to do.
We need a t-shirt assistant.
Oh, yes.
So, owl cat, I guess they have floof.
Mm-hmm.
That's, now, much like, owls and cats that both have a tendency to, hawk up a friendly gift. I imagine that owl cat can do that on a spectacular level.
I just noticed there's a heart crater in my moon, and I was looking at that.
Where's our heart crater? Oh, yeah. There's a heart crater.
A little bit of a heart. Didn't intend it. It's awesome.
That's awesome.
Hopefully it will stay. I mean, if I paint it out, I may put one back somewhere on the moon. I like it. All right. Speaking of floof, we got to give him a branch.
Yeah.
Let's put out some black. What color? Black. Gonna make a branch. Now, to get everything sort of in, if you're not a person who draws, right? This would be, I would get my branch in if I was using my traceable because I would just be putting the cat on top of it. If I was also putting my branch in, I would grid right now So let me show you how to use the grid to get everything in.
Yep.
I'm going to dry my surface, show you the grid, and then we're going to get all these little objects in and continue on, and we will be done with step 2, well on the way to step 3.
Okay, so thank you guys for coming and hanging out. This is really one of my favorite paintings she's done this season. So it's I'm really enjoying this one. Thank you guys for coming and joining us. Don't forget not to use heat on your surface, especially with all these beautiful colors. You don't want to have any color shift or any problems with your paint. So just make sure you don't use heat, and just dry it thoroughly so that as you're painting the next layers of kitty, floof, and things like that, you don't pick up any of these under layers in your next coat. And that's why she's going to make sure that she dries that thoroughly and touches all the way around there to make sure that it stays nice and dry. Other than that, don't forget to check the link in the description down below so you can see where you can find that reference photo. You can find the traceable. You can find all the links that Cinnamon has for the gridded image, which she'll be pulling up here in just a moment. We'll have that over there. And then, what else do we got to do today? I think that's probably all the things I have to announce. I've been doing, we got all sorts of cool stuff. I don't know what I can talk about. We have a lot of cool stuff we're in development on, but we're like, like this whole event thing. I don't even know when we can announce it, but soon.
We can't. He's going to sell out.
Yes, true.
Good times. Yeah, we are working on a lot of fun stuff. Very excited for everything in the future. Really excited about having this year's 13 Days of Halloween and the Art Sherpa Halloween Challenge. And also all the things that are going on. I'm doing Life Book right now. So many things are happening that are really good and creative. But you know what's really important? What's happening on your easel at this moment. How you doing? Take a minute. And whatever you're judging yourself about right now, whatever it is, I want you to pink it away. It has nothing to do with what's going on with your painting. I promise you, if critique and self-criticism and judgment made you a better artist, I would be like a drill sergeant up in here. Talking like a 1980s, like late 70s Private Benjamin drill sergeant. But it doesn't work. What really works is just being calm and reflective and paying attention to the important things in your painting, which is, are you enjoying yourself? Are you relaxing? Do you love putting the color on the canvas? Just follow along the steps. You are going to get to the painting. Use the step-by-step. You can do this. All right. Was that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Sippy, sippy. Sucky, sucky, sippy, sippy. All right. So now I am going to come across, and if you have this is the alternate to your traceable. You can paint in your branch now, but I think wait till we get our branch in, and that's the point when you would put your traceable in, but we're going to grid in. So wherever you are, the only thing I would say is neither one of these processes are cheating in any way. I'm going to make this mark so I know that's the 2.5 inch one, because we measure from the left to right and from the top to bottom.
That makes sense.
So giving myself a little mark to know what I'm doing is sometimes helpful. I can't wait to get into the fur of this. He's so much fun to actually paint. Much like when we go grass, we may go fur. I always like to see what closed captioning does with what I say. Usually it says I'm an art chirpa.
Uh-huh.
I'm very chirpy with my art. Sometimes it says some obscene things. If that ever happens, I apologize. We try to enable live closed captioning for anyone that needs it. And it's an ever improving tool set. I can tell you this, though. The people at Google and at YouTube that work on it are not lightly committed to it. They are absolutely body, mind, and soul, just all about making videos and this type of content more accessible. So we should send a lot of love and light to them.
Absolutely.
So I have vertical lines at the 2.5, 5.5, and 8.5 inch mark. And then I'm going to come down here and at 3.5 make a line, at the 7-inch mark make a line, and at the 10.5-inch mark make a line. And I'm going to go across and see how that helped me stay like kind of focused on where my grid has to go. Sometimes weird things like that can mess you up, right? No. Once you know, you know. Now, once you get the grid in, all you're doing is drawing the contour lines. That's the exterior important lines, the major object shapes. And you put that in and it'll come together. So if you're like drawing your cat, you can see that he's sort of centered here and his body comes down to that square, right? And his body kind of comes down to this square. He's going to end up, honestly, I promise you, looking like an egg. The branch itself starts at the 10.5 inch, comes up to show a little peak of moon, right? Takes a sharp turn down and curves off. You can even get a sense of how big that branch is. Look at that. So now you know where your branch is. He doesn't want to know where the branch is. And then your cat, he's going to come right here. He starts out like a gumdrop shape.
Mm-hmm.
Just don't make your gumdrop too skinny. And then what I like to do is I like to bring the tail down and curve it up like that. So that's how I get that first bit of him in. Now I can go ahead, once I have all that done, I can first remove all my extra grid. Remove all my extra grid.
You used to use chalk there?
I just use chalk that you would use on a chalkboard in a class for kids. Or adults, wherever you would use a chalkboard. Wherever chalk is sold. I got mine, this latest version at CVS. Because Michael's is out in my area. They probably have it back in by now. Just when I bought it, it was out. Because for some reason, everybody buying chalk. Can't imagine why. What? What could the demand of chalk be? But that's what it is. You can also use chalk pencils and things, which I've demoed before. It's just if you're using those, you need to be really careful not to press too hard. Or it can be hard to remove the grid. And that's frustrating. And I switched back to the charcoal chalk because what I found is even if I talked about it in the demo, students were still overly pressing on the grid. And I'm not about aggravating you. That is not my joy. I'm going to get my black on my brush. I get that some creators, that's their joy, to aggravate their audience. My joy is not to do that.
It's to trick you, but not here.
Not here. No, this is not one of those fun, crazy channels. This is an educational channel, so we try to demystify things, not make them more challenging. I'm using just the toe of my brush. And as I come out, I'm going to just bring my little branch down and I will make it thinner and thinner. I'm not going to finish the whole thing out. I just need to know where it is so that when I put him in, he sits there. But I need to leave room for me to get a little fine brush in there and make lots of little awesome-y branches that are cool and amazing. The next part that I'm going to do is I will for sure use a number 4 round at one point on this, but initially it's going to be just the number 8 cat's tongue. And I'm going to take my purple and paint it all in. If you're painting really inexpensive paints, you may want to put kind of like a white purple underneath or just white so that your colors on top are bright, because inexpensive paints can be really transparent. And the yellow would gray out. Even as it is, I'm painting a fairly opaque purple, and you're still going to see a lot of what's here underneath it. So just come in here and just paint this in first. Pretty directly paint the gumdrop as you do. Get a sense of your gumdrop. You can always make your gumdrop bigger. It's tough to make it smaller. So I would say proceed with caution. I'd like to also say, if you're not familiar with D&D, not all monsters are bad or evil in D&D. They're just non-human magical creatures.
That's true.
They're just under the monster handbook, but, you know, some of them are quite lovely. Not like, say, a beholder or mind flayer, but like, or green slime.
I do believe in,
ice dragons.
Speaking, monsters are considered things that you can't be as player characters.
That's right. But that doesn't mean that they're evil. That doesn't say their alignment. Their alignments can be lawful good.
Yep.
You know? Because unicorns are under the monster manual. So that's what I always tell people when I'm trying to explain. Unicorns are under the monster manual, so clearly not evil. Once the gumdrop is in, I'm going to go ahead and come right here. And I like to flick up at the side of my gumdrop. Like if I go here and maybe like here and here. And I'll flick up a little ear. I'm just flicking it a little bit. And I will come around and make this be the beginning of the little hair mark. See how I'm doing?
Oh, yeah.
It's the beginning. It's not the finish. It's just the start. And I've left so much room for fluff, haven't I?
Yeah.
The ears just are the fur kind of tapers out to a point. And then I will come here. Now, I will be painting right over my branch because I'm going to do a cool thing where some of the tail is covering and some of the branch covers that. It'll be confusing for a second, but then when it's all done, you'll be like, oh, that's what we were doing.
Gotcha.
And just enjoy this. What you're really trying to go for is this very uneven, whimsical, curled, everything going different directions. The beginning. This is not the longest part of your hair. This is just giving it an architecture to start from. Right?
This is your underfur.
This is your underfur.
Underfloof.
The underminer. Sorry.
Underfloof.
Underfloof. As I come over the branch, I'm definitely going to continue to fluff this out, even though I know I'm going to put that black branch back in where it can stop causing trouble. Create that over-under effect. I definitely do pay attention to my fur directionality. And as I'm curving, you'll notice that I'm doing it in rows that help me curve it out. We're going to be thicker here and then tapering at the end of the tail. There's many layers, so it's not that critical or crazy that you have everything perfect at this stage. Just in where you know where it is and what it is. You can always make the tail fluffier, which I did the first time and will be doing again.
Mm-hmm.
And you can always make him fluffier, which I did the first time, and you will be doing again. But you got to get the first stuff in, right, guys? Everything has its stages and its steps. I like to do this. And then I taper the fur down to the tail a bit. Again, it's going to be a lot fluffier when that's over. So where you should be at this stage is stage 4 of your step-by-steps. You see, one here, you got this in, you got him in, right? Now, maybe at the branch, you used your traceable to get him in, or maybe at the moon, you gridded everything in with us.
Yeah.
Either way is perfectly fine. I'm going to go ahead and freak John out about my cat, and he can tell you how awesome our Sherpa soap is.
Okay. So, our Sherpa soap is awesome. I've been learning a lot about how to make a better soap, and we've done a lot of research over the years. And there's the newest. What I would say is that our core soap has always been really really cool, but we now have other products that are also interesting alongside our core soap, which should be available soon. Which I don't know what she wanted me to tell you about, really, other than we make some really cool soap. And it's available in our store, and we have more soap coming. So I don't know what you wanted me to tell him about soap.
I don't know. I just gave you a topic like that. Washing your brushes is the #1 thing you can do to save money.
You were like, go tell them about the super secret stuff that we're working on. I'm like,
no, I wasn't like this.
I don't know.
Just like that, we have awesome soap. It washes your brushes. You can find it on our website and Amazon. It's fantastic.
And we're making a bunch of cool soap.
We make a bunch of cool soap. More stuff coming.
More stuff coming.
Now I'm going to make the paws, which is for me 3 distinctive little oval circles. I'll make these a little bit lighter so you can see them. Okay, 3 distinctive oval circles. I use my number 4 round to get this done. And then you can just go ahead and paint those in. This is like a placeholder. This is not the finished end-all be-all of what you're doing with these adorable little paws, but you have a lot of cat to get in, you know? A lot of cat to get in.
There's a lot of owl there, too.
There's a lot of owl there, too.
You know, I'm interested to see Owl Cat's wings someday.
I'm going to take a little bit of this purple and white, and I'm going to give myself just a couple things. It's up here in the upper face that I'm going to want to do a couple little eyes. Let me get this whiter for you guys.
Or are they a flightless cat?
I don't know. It's a magic cat, so I'm just placing in the overall placement of these eyes. So where those are at in the upper part of the head. You've got your grid. You kind of have some sort of cool idea of where that is. I'm going to get a little of this. Then our nose is almost like right between our eyes. Like a Persian.
Yeah, that's not going to be a troublesome thing.
It's not for him. He's magic.
That's true magic cat.
Okay, I'm going to come down with a little straight line. I'm just giving myself an idea of directionality of fur. It does help.
Well, I mean, you've seen
We
it.
sort of curve up and curve over. You can change the expression on your furry cat if you feel like you'd like to. The other thing I'd like to let you know where is that in this, he's got a little bit of a kind of light area that is going to be around this part of his face. So I know where that is. And then definitely here, he's going to have this here. I'm just trying to tell you, you don't have to make these sketches. We're just know where we're going. So these are things that I have in my mind all the time, but you might not be thinking of, you know, that intensely. When you're happy with your placement of your eyes, go ahead and get some of your green paint and some of your yellow paint. All right. And let's make some bright green eyes right here. Like you do. Like we do anyways. They were just painting those in. And yes, I'm very close up on my canvas. I'll sit back. And now, with my brush, I'm going to start doing the fur. The fur. The fun fur. All right. Get my step by step so I know what fur I've got going on. I've got a little bit of purple fur underneath here. But I'm going to go ahead and make that a little bit stronger. I'm going to get a little of my white and my purple together, as you do. And let's come here and begin the under fur. I'm making little strokes. And what I'll say about fur is that there's a flow, and you want to go with the flow. Think of it as a stream. I like to bring it kind of to a point down here above the little bridge of the nose, and we'll just bring this up here, defining these little hairs that are coming off of him in a much more cute way. You know what we're doing? Very cute, very defined. Fur. Over the top here. Even though I know I've got the pink zone, I do like to come back and make sure that my furs are in both zones. The fur is a blue and purple mixture, so it's important to get all the layers in. I'm going to come around the outside of the ears, but I'm going to leave the inside of the ears a dark purple. See how I just did? It went around, forward, out. Coming down the side here, make sure that you are flowing the hair. See how I'm flowing the hair? Lots of S curves, lots of C curves. Flowing it down. Breathe in, breathe out. Say something nice to yourself about yourself. That's probably the hardest thing I ask people to do all day. They're like, look, I'm willing to pay, but don't ask me to speak kindly to myself. That's a lot for a day, but you should. You should be very compassionate and forgiving of yourself. We all have a lot we face. I'm just bringing this down here. First layer is always the fun layer. Now, sometimes I like to get a little darker with it as I come near the tail, so I'm going to get a little water into my round brush. And I just continue to weave those little hairs together. I think the number one thing that made him a two-hoot was just that there's a lot of hair to paint. Like a lot.
There is a lot. You're fast going over there to get some of that paint sometimes too. It's like, whew.
Yes, I am. Because I know how much fur we have ahead of us. When I come down here, you can see lots of S-curves.
Do you need to pick up your palette?
Huh?
I didn't know if for all that, did you need to pick up your palette?
I think I'm okay. I think sometimes when they see me go to get the paint, it helps address how often I'm reloading. But if it would be easier on you for me to pick up my palette, I can do that.
No, not at all. Just fine.
Okay. I could, though. And I would. You know I would.
Yeah.
As I wouldn't. I'm just saying that for y'all. Oh, I would. If you need me to do something, I'll totally do it.
So, Lori actually asks
Hi,
a
Lori.
question I have not seen before.
Excellent. We love to answer new questions.
So, could you use masking fluid with acrylic paint?
Yes.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, liquid masking fluid, yes. And you can use also the masking sheets and very easily use them for stencils. Airbrush artists do it quite a lot.
Oh.
It's a little tougher if you're doing thick paint applications because the thick paint application can hold masking fluid down. But if you're doing very thin or fine paint applications, yeah, you can use masking fluid.
Interesting.
Good question. It's a good tool, masking fluid. You can see I'm just bringing this fur around. I'm filling up my tail. I want my tail to be fluffy. There's no point in having him not be fluffy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. And you can see now we're starting to cover up that log and stuff, the branch that he's on. There we go. Working it out. Bringing this around here. We're almost done with the purple layer. We've got a blue layer we've got to do.
This is really amazing.
There's a lot to do here, but the fur is worth it. And if you've ever been wanting to do something that was genuinely fluffy, this will give you an idea of a way to do that that's effective and an idea of how much it will take of you to get it done.
Because this is genuinely fluffy.
Genuinely fluffy. Isn't he? You can see we just build up. You're just giving him plugs. Sorry. As I go. And I'm going to make sure that I've got the same thing happening over here. So, be sure you're going to come and add the light hair to the outside of where the ear is. And then you bring some lighter hair forward. And that little dark value really helps it kind of appear. Go ahead and get some of this little fur going back into things. Because we know what we need, where we need it. And now with this brush, you can see where that fluff is genuinely coming from. You can go ahead and fluff some of this in here if you want. All right, once that's in, we're going to come back through with blue. And it really is just white and blue. Now we're done. Variants of white and blue. And we're going to come through here again. Little short strokes where the fur is short. See how we're doing that? Lots of little details. Take a deep breath. Know that you've got time. Lots and lots of time. I'm going to find that a little bit above the bridge of his nose that I haven't put in yet, but I will be putting in because he's so cute. Bring this in here. Filling that up. Look at us go. Then I don't paint the ear with the blue, and that's where the ear comes from. That's how I get that ear in. Like, how'd you get that ear in? That's how I get that. And you can see this blue just vibrates almost, I feel, off of the purple. Let him go. And just be playful with this fur as you come around. Right? You've got time. You can be playful. You can afford it. Make these edges extraordinary. Play them up. Take them further than you expected to go. In. Sometimes I get a little darker as I move to the interior of Mr. Kitty Face. I'm going to come backwards up into where I know there's going to be fur and carefully around his paws. Because it's real easy for me to come back over this. More of the blue. I like it to be deep blue. Okay, I'm bringing that fur back up. Fur back up.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, we need a silly break. What do we got on our silly break today?
Oh, I'm just really into watching the fur, I think is what happens. Is I've just been like, now, there were some different questions about brushes to make fur. Now, I remember someone earlier was asking about a fan brush.
You can use a fan brush. You could use a grass comb. There's some specialty brushes. Here's an example of a grass comb. See, the brush is cut.
You can't, there, okay.
You can see it's cut to have little different lines. So there are brushes for that. And they're fun to invest in. Most brush companies have a few. They're called decorative brushes. If you're not seeing them where you're looking, it's probably they're under the decorative brushes section. Don't ever let stuff like that pull you off. Like one of the things I've noticed, which is sort of a shame, is sometimes artists won't shop in the crafters section and crafters don't want to shop in the fine art section. And I think we all miss out on cool products and materials because of that.
We stay in our respective sections.
We do. We get into our section. We're like, well, I'm a crafter, so I, wouldn't buy like, say, fine art gesso. But frankly, Golden's gesso is cheaper if you look at it by volume than a lot of the specialty gessos for crafting.
And it's superior to lots of things. Not all of them, but lots of them.
Lots of them. So, but you won't really often see crafters go into that section. It's not where they go. I'm just adding to the fur. If you want to come back and get some purple into this fur, you can always do that. See how we do? We just keep blending out the fur wherever I need. And you give lots of little directional furs. Yeah, it's that hard to fur. I'm sure you're like, I've been here a minute. It's a minute.
A minute.
It's about a minute to do this fur, but worth it. Okay, maybe a little darker than that. Sometimes I'll get in and I'll be like, no, I don't want the light. You got to save those light hairs for later so that you have a place to lighten up into. Line up, yo! To help layers appear. You'll sometimes see me roll my brush and load up the tip. That's just a control issue. I'm not controlling, but I do like to have some control over where my paint goes.
You have control issues?
I don't think so. I don't know. Do I? You would be the one who would know. I think in some areas I do. I think in some areas I'm a little quick to release my control. And so it's probably a situation by situation. I continue to go here and you can see that I'm pulling these blue hairs out. What a thing, right? Pulling him out, fluffing him up. We're getting there. We're almost getting to the elusive, challenging step 4, right? Now, while we're here, we're going to have some fun. We're going to take a little bit of our turquoise out and a smidge of our white, because we want it to be darker a bit. And I'm going to come down here and I'm going to begin to do the bib, this little kind of kitty bib. And these hairs will sort of layer over the hairs on top, like that's on either side. So expect to layer them in the way that you see me doing. And I very much do S-curve brush strokes, which if you've never done one and you're finding the S-curves challenging, guess what? Just practice on a scratch piece of paper. Everybody you see doing it got it from practice. That is the magic secret sauce of painting. Practice does the most. I'm just layering those in as you would want to. Bringing that up. And you can fill in a bit before your next layer. So that's what you see me doing here when I brush back and forth. I'm filling in. Now, as I go back, I can add more white to my mix. I can even add a bit of yellow. You know what we're doing?
Yeah.
And then let's come here and we need water, get water into that. And we're going to come add that next layer. I like to bring it down a little bit further to the center so it's going to kind of come to a point. And go with the flow. See how I'm just stroking and rolling with the flow? That's the trick. I'm going to put out a little more white so I'm not struggling for my white. Boy, we are powering through him. I expected this to be much more of a thing.
Yeah.
How are you guys feeling?
Pretty good.
Make sure you're taking time to move your neck and shoulders. Do a little dance if you need to. Get that blood flowing. Whatever you can physically do, move a finger. All good. Breathe in, breathe out, relax. While still having a really good time.
Yeah.
So I'm going to get a little more of my paint here, and I'm going to get a lot more white. Makes a really cool color. I like a super nice mint. And I'm going to add these little top hairs, guard hairs, to our owl cat, magical familiar, who now will visit again and again. Remember how I did like a bunch of owls? We'll do a bunch of cats like this.
Now, if you're having trouble with, you're using, let's say, a student paint.
Yeah.
And you're mixing white and it tends to get chunky, what do you suggest?
You could add more water to try to thin your paint. You could do something like this where you get white like this, which is a fluid white, and use it as your white. If you couldn't afford that, you could get a white like that to use that as your white if you're getting chunky, clumpy white. If it looks like cottage cheese, the paint is off and it needs to be returned. Like if it comes out, it's like a blue.
Now, you suggest white is the first color that you upgrade in your paints.
I do. The first color I would upgrade anytime I was painting, I'm just getting a little more of my light color here, is white. I think it's an important color to upgrade because they are not equal, if that makes sense. The whites are not formulated equal and the coverage is not equal, and you need so much white. You need twice the white that you need of any other color, so just add a little more yellow and white to that. I'm going to rinse out. Now coming from up here, I'm going to be like a lot more yellow into this formulation. but white also. See how we're doing? Get more water if you need it. Did you turn the AC off?
I don't know that I had it on. I will go
I'm
fix that.
feeling it today. Because remember, I'm on studio lights. It's cold outside is what it is. It's hard to remember to get the AC on in the studio.
I will get that over there in just a second.
I know you will. I'm continuing to add white as I'm moving up underneath the mouth. That was a good question, though, about the white, because there's just a lot that happens there. You guys loving this? And just keep adding some white. I'm going to really add white right there so it's like very bright.
Let's see. Reach over here and get that for you.
Get some little guard hairs going. I love guard hairs. You'll see me paint a lot of guard hairs. And what I mean by guard hairs is those are the finer, longer, more refined hairs. And it's also what helps us find the fluffy and our fluffy friend.
And that helps your fluffy friend find the edges of doors. And
it does.
Things they can sneaky through.
They got to sneaky through it, man. Rinsing out thoroughly. And I'm going to quick do the paws. Paws are a lot of fun. They're going to be, don't let the paws give you paws. I'm going to take a little pink, a little purple together, and some white. And I'm going to come to the top and pull down half of this value over the little paw nubs. The little, see them?
Yeah.
First highlight that we're going to do. Just to give some value and transition to this. And then I like to come back with a little bit of purple underneath. I'm kind of trying to show the shading of this. And a little more of that pink, purple, white. You're just stroking that over. And it's like they come to life, don't they? All right, we're doing really well there. We'll finish those a bit later. That is the end of stage 4. Now, my water's gotten a bit dirty. And I'm going to run and grab another couple of waters.
You want me to do that?
Oh, you can. Well, yeah, you can do that, and I'll talk to them. So if there's a question or anything I can answer, I can talk about a thing, or
you can just talk about a thing. I don't have to go up here and see here.
All right. So I'm excited. Tomorrow we're going to be doing a Plymouth Fury. We're going to be doing Baby from.
Plymouth Fury.
Sorry.
It's a '67 Chevrolet Impala.
Impala. I don't know why I said that.
327.
Because it's furry. I have fur on the brain.
327.
You're not even on the mic. Go get on the mic and say those things.
I don't need to say it on the mic. You say it back.
I can't say any of those things back. Look, here's what I know after a bazillion seasons of Supernatural. I'm going to tell you what I know, and John's going to get the water. I'm going to tell you what I know about Supernatural. Season 1, they didn't know they were funny. Season 2, they figured out they were funny, and it got really good. Season 1 scared me a little bit. Sam and Dean have saved the world a lot. Angels are not to be trusted under any circumstances. Unicorns are super dangerous. You got to watch those. Everybody needs a lair. Family is hard. That's the thing that I think I took away. I think one of the best narratives in Supernatural is the family. I love that the producer named a character after himself, and it's one of the epic characters in the book, Bobby. The Scooby-Doo episode is a must-watch episode. Even if you don't watch anything else from Supernatural, you can watch the Scooby-Doo. It is not a kid's show, but it is a funny show. It's one of the few shows that John and I can watch together. I have no idea what those actors are going to do afterwards. They like made friends, got married, had whole lives like on the show. I live next door to one of the special effects guys there. He did like blood and different. He was like the supervisor of special effects, and I have a season 8 backpack that the crew had.
He was actually he was the blood guy. So anytime they dropped like a car on a demon, he had a day of it, and he told me all the different. They had special tools to make atomization, and I'm like, they had an art form here.
So if you are anybody who works on the crew or is part of the crew or works anywhere on Supernatural, I gotta say, good job. Thank you for entertaining us all these years. The con is not inexpensive either.
We're gonna have to check that out.
Yeah.
Okay.
So all right, back to this.
But
that's what we're doing tomorrow, and I'm working really hard on it. And I may be bad at saying car things, but I'm good. I'm going to paint this car like nobody did it.
Baby is a 1967 Chevrolet Impala four-door.
Right. Impala.
That's right.
I'm going to pull a little paint into it. It's a black car, and it has much like the Black Pearl, it has its own storyline.
It does.
It does. I'm going to get a little bit of my next colors of the paint in. So let's go ahead and begin getting some of our pink in that goes around the face. I'm going to get this wet. And you can see already that having a little bit of fresh water does not hurt nobody. And I'm going to come up here a little bit high because, you know, cats have that weird eyebrow.
Well, some cats do.
They all have it. They have no eyebrows, but then they do. John doesn't really you guys should know, John doesn't really get to weigh in on cats because he's allergic.
Well, I mean, you've brought cats into our lives before.
You didn't complain until you stopped breathing.
Well, see, at least the Persian and I had something in common.
It's true. John did used to be amused that the Persian and him both couldn't breathe.
So
this is a cat that I've had in my life since my whole life. We used to have a cat. Our first one was named Vincent Lombardi, and he was adopted from a friend that we had that we knew, and he came to live at our house, and he'd never seen the outdoors before, so he was like confused by things like sunlight. That was the lamp that wouldn't turn off, and the fact that sometimes our floor was very dirty and full of rocks. And he laid down to eat his food. He didn't like to stand up at all. And, oh my goodness, he was just a character. He didn't understand how to hunt things or how to climb trees. He almost got himself propelled by a sapling because he crawled all the way up the sapling, and you watched the sapling bend down as he got to the top, and you could see it do the tension because it was going to do the whip back, and he stepped off just as the tree launched. We were all at the top of the hill just really freaked out. We were just like, that cat is not going to make it. And he hunted by sleeping. So he knew there were like squirrels, and they had little squirrel holes, little ground squirrels. And he wanted one, but he wasn't really sure how to get one. So he'd just sleep by their hole. And like eventually they just forgot he was there. And then he got one, but then he let it go because it wasn't, you know, prepackaged with sauce. And he was not into that. He was like, I got it. I did the cat thing. I'm good. So can you see how I'm just traveling around his face in a direction, creating this little zone of pink fur? That's what we did there, yo. That's what we did. Now, eyes. I'm going to get my glasses on for these because seeing is always helpful. Just always. The first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get a little black onto my brush. And I'm going to come here. I'm going to come over this, around. And I'll kind of come back. Come around. So there is sort of an iris there, and it comes around like that. There's one cat eye. Let's see how we do on the second one. More black paint. Sorry. I know Supernatural was a deviation, but had to get water.
That's a good deviation.
It is a good deviation. It's a great show Like if you liked Shaun of the Dead or Zombieland or even 28 Days Later or The Creep or any of those, you would like it. And it's a little bit funny. You know, by season 2, it's a little bit funny. And the characters have story arc. I think that's why people love it and stay with it. You know, I get that we have to come to an end because there's just a limit to how many times we save the world. And also, we're all starting to feel bad for Sam and Dean. Because, like, they've been at this a while. Their dad just, like, brought them into the family business. And then there you go. Really, it was their mom. All right, so I'm going to come here. And I'm going to come with my yellow. I mixed a yellow and green. Do you see how I made this bright yellow and green? I took a little phthalo green and a little of my cad yellow. And I made a very bright green. I'm going to come to this side. And I'm going to paint to this outside that little bit of green. I'm going to do the same on the other side of the eye. I get a lot of people who are like, they love, love, love my eyes. And it's this work here that makes that happen. That outside edge of the eye. I'm going to roll off and I'm going to go ahead and just get a little more green on here. But I do want yellow into it. If you need a drop of water to thin it, improve flow, get that. And I'm going to come around this side of the eye with the darker color. But still quite bright, luminous green. There we go. It's doing quite well. I'm going to let that have a little bit of a thought. It's going to have a think. And while it's having a think, I'm going to go ahead and get some lighter pink. Much lighter pink. And I'm going to come here and add those little hairs. You know what we're doing?
Mm-hmm.
Brighter pink.
Now this is a magic cat.
Yes, this is a very magical cat.
Now, so unlike a regular cat, you know, because you've seen a Persian sneeze, right? And well, this magic cat that's a power called color spray.
Sorry, I'm just loving it. I'm grabbing some white to make kind of a hot spot here at the front of the thing. Oh my gosh, I love that. That's the best, John. You're the best. Just keep
It's how they
moving.
show they love you.
Yes.
They get close and give you a color spray.
It's like a glitter sneeze. You're never getting rid of it either. So just trying to make sure that I create some, white spots right here.
There's a 1 in 4 chance you'll be covered in glitter.
There is a 3 in 4 chance you'll be covered in glitter. You just spoke like you've never been near a cat. What a cat do? If somebody has an allergy, what's the cat going to do?
Well, I'm just saying, it's
going to come visit that person and love them more than it's loved any human in its life, including their owner.
I would say you're definitely going to get color spray, but it's a 1 in 4 chance of being covered in glitter. Because you never know what the color spray had loaded. There might have been residual allergies there.
So I just kind of kept painting and refining that in there. That's pretty good, right? We're doing pretty awesome. Come and grab a little bit of your black again, just on the tip of your brush, and you're going to come in and make a very distinctive round spot. This cat looking right at you. I think this one's even cuter, if possible, than the last cat. Hey, no, I love you both. Don't get crazy with me.
Well, see, it just used its charm person spell on you.
It charmed me.
It charmed you.
I'm going to come here to the nose, and I'm going to just tap in what is a very dark pink version of his little nose. So it kind of curves up here. I'm going to get some pure purple, maybe a little black. I'm going to come get just on the tip of my brush. And then I'm going to make a little nostril on either side. There we go. So there, just kind of define that a little bit better. If you need to thin that inner line, all you got to do is grab some more of your pink and come here and just trim in that way. See how we can do?
Yeah.
All the way down to the lip line. You're okay. There we go. That's doing fairly well. I'm going to go ahead and get a very, 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 very light pink. And I'm going to come to the top of the nose and highlight. Back into my black, back in black. And really define little nostrils there. Ah, there we go. Definitive little nose, isn't it? Get a little bit of just pure white. And create a reflection at the top of the nose. See, I'm just tapping it out so it's small. There we go. Now he's got his little pink nose. He's super happy. I'm going to grab some yellow. You can have a little tiny bit of green in it, but it's mostly yellow. And then get some white into it. Quite light. I'm going to come right here. And just right there on the inside, tap, tap. Tap, tap. Oh, he's looking good.
Oh, yeah.
So look at him. Let's take him in. There we are through step 5. Now
Those
we are
eyes
into the home
so good.
stretch. We're going to finish him up. Get all the rest of his little definition hairs in. Fluff the tail, which I'm going to tell you right now is a journey in of itself. Come in, get his reflections and his whiskers on, and then we're going to be done. And you guys are going to be blown away by what you can paint. Now let's take a deep breath. Let's wiggle ourselves. It's a fun day. It's a fun day. It's a fun day. Catterday. Catterday. I don't know if that's good.
I like a Catterday.
I like a Catterday too. I like a painting day. Painting day is my favorite day. It is okay if you're not used to long painting sessions to stop at each one of the places that we say is a stage and have a rest session and then come back and paint.
Yeah, that makes sense.
It is a perfectly okay thing to do. My glasses are so dirty, I'm surprised I can see out of them. So let's begin the long journey of the tail. I'm going to be putting out fluid white paint for the whiskers, so I'm going to put that out now. Right, and I also have some fluid black paint I'm going to put out. This helps me with the branches and the whiskers and everything else. So one is a fine artist paint and one is a Deco brand craft paint. The difference between them is just the quality of the polymer and pigments and the engineering and rheology. But for the purposes of your painting, wouldn't be impactful for this project, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Sometimes stuff is impactful, but in this particular chance, it is not impactful. So I'm going to grab a little bit of my purple and add white to it. And what's nice about the fluid white paint is that it prevents me from needing to get a lot of water. Now I'm going to begin the business of coming back and fluffing Mr. Fluff's tail. Let's fluff that tail. He's got a little stripy tail, as you guys might have noticed. And to do that, I've got to do the hair backwards. Or at least for me, I've got to do that so that the lines layer nicely. If I want them to layer nicely, that's what I've got to do. Then I'm going to do a blue, which is just our blue and just white. Come right here, and you just start to paint the blue, and it goes right over the purple. It doesn't have to be a whole nother color. Just the contrast of the blue and then the purple will make the stripes of the tail. Just make sure that you are really fluffing it. Go fluff, fluff, fluff. Fluff, fluff, fluff. Fluff your cute tail. Yes, your cute tail. And he's not angry fluffy. He's just naturally fluffy.
Mm.
See, we just make it even bigger as we come down. There's no like, oh no. I'll go right into my purple and get some white. And just layer the tail. That's what I like to do, layer the tail. You can see it's the lighter hairs when I get a bunch of white on my brush with the purple pigment in it that define the flow of the fur. As you can see, we're going boom, boom, boom. We're just going to keep doing that all the way back to the cat. How far do we go?
All the way back to the cat?
All the way back to the cat. I may turn my canvas if I feel like it could help me in any way.
You know what? The cat came back.
The very next day, oh, the cat came back. He wouldn't stay away.
We thought he was a goner.
The cat came back. You are so funny.
I don't know about that.
You are. You crack me
Maybe
up.
punny.
You're funny. You're punny. You're oh so awesome. You're my favorite.
Well, thank you.
All right. You can see I'm just coming back. And then when I need lighter hair, I just get right into the white. Take a very light hair. Like that. Follow the flow of the hair. If you start a flow, follow it. Using S curves and C curves. They don't cross each other. They flow with each other. I think I will do better this way. I think we need another little chunk of purple here, don't we?
Yeah.
Get some water in here and start the purple flow. Like Parappa the Rappa. And you can see by doing it this way, it lets me layer each radiating concentric circle quite easily out to each other. And that's what you need sometimes. Making those fun little hair moves. Making hair moves. Look at that. We're almost there, and he looks so cute. I think I'm gonna tuck in one more little blue spot, and then I'll finish him out purple all the way. Because I think we could use a little blue row again, but not a thick one. Maybe a thinner one this time. You could also do a rainbow tail. Oh, I should do one of these guys in rainbow, huh?
A rainbow one. That'd be good. That'd be good for the spring.
Oh, spring, I would do one all in flowers. It'd be so cute. The flowers on the. I could go crazy.
I can see it.
This is the area in which the Sherpa could be like, students, what students? We're just painting now. Because it's fun. It's fun even for me. This is fun for me to paint. Not just fun for you to paint. I like to paint them too. There we go. That's a nice little blue stripey. Last stripey. Take the stripe all the way to the cat. Take that stripe all the way. You got this. Right? You know what you want. You know who you are. You know how fluffy your cat needs to be.
Mm-hmm.
Make your little heart go squee. Squee.
Just fluff till your heart squeeze.
Fluff till your heart squeeze. Though, of course, there's people that squee for the really bald cats.
It's true.
Them
You know?
Rexes look like old men.
Whatever makes you squeeze.
Bats.
You know, it's
This time was so funny. The first time he saw one of those, he couldn't process that it was a cat. It really scared him. He kept saying kitty. He was like, no kitty. Mm-mm. Like, you're confused adults. You never steered me wrong until this moment, but now I question your knowledge. Question it deeply. So when we have that in, I like to come in and get a little bit of my, turquoise again and get a lot of my white in here so I get a very light color. And, you just kind of come through here and add these little highlight hairs. See how we're doing?
Oh, yeah.
And that will pop over the top of the other hair that you have going. Take that all around, anywhere you feel like you need a little definition of hair. I'm going to also at this time go ahead and maybe put a little turquoise reflection a bit on his paw. 1, 2, 3. Like we do, like this is like the shiny part of the fur. And I'm going to finish this branch. So I've got this black here, and if I need more pigment, I can always mix it with my good black. And go right over that tail. And you're like, but we did all that work. I know. But you weren't going to get those long, nice hair strokes without it, were you?
Nope.
Nope. So sometimes that's why we do those crazy things. Sometimes I like to kind of come up a bit with just a little of my dark to find some of these little toes. And then, you come here and you just sharpen it out. It can go right off. I think it's fun to bring out a little branch. And how I get my branches, I'm very much on the toe of my brush. My paint flows out really easily, so that's easy for me to do. I'm trying to make them thinner as they go out. And just making little twiggles. Your branch is in the twiggles. Wiggle up as much as you can without making yourself crazy. Wiggle as much as you can. Yeah, we got a lot of twigglies going.
Yeah.
I'm still just on my number 4 round. I'm going to rinse this out thoroughly. And I'm going to go ahead and get some white. My black's still kind of wet, so this should work really well. And I'm going to make little bark marks. Just wiggling that back and forth. You can always make a little kind of knot. If I need to, I roll it out. I know I'm going to come on the top of everything here. And I'm going to make a little highlight on the top of that branch. Helps them pop, as you can see. Bring that there. And again here. Along the top of this one. Just nice to make the little barky marks. Barky marks, not Marky Mark, barky marks. Okay. There we go. Dip. Pretty good. We've got a couple more things to do on Mr. Cutie Face. He needs a few more things. I'm going to take a little bit of this pink over to my white and get a very light version of it. And I'm going to come here and make sure I create sort of that sense of that lighter little bit of fur. And do the same on the other side. Overstep my mark. I just come back before the paint's dry. A little bit of water on the brush and get it back to there. Now I'm going to come here, the white, the pink. What do we got right here? You know, those things, the top of his little face. Cat brows. Cat brows are the funniest brow. You can exaggerate those or do anything you want. Will really change his expression. Quite a lot, actually.
Yeah, it's true.
You know, the cat brow through here. The cat brows are looking pretty good, right?
I like it.
Now it's a good time to get a little paint on your brush. Come here and do a white and a white. And then I like to go dot, dot. That's quite a lot of pretty lovely reflection on your kitty pants.
Mm-hmm.
Guys, we are getting close to the end. Are you ready to whisker?
Well, I'm ready to whisker.
Are you ready to whisker?
Let's whisk this cat away.
So first, I'm going to go with my black this time. And I'm going to make a dot here. Maybe a little dot here. Kind of a staggered one there. One back here, and maybe something down here and up here. Wherever you have a dot, you're just going to come back and make a funny, long little whisker line. They're crookedy and wandery because he's a little frazzled. I don't like to cross them, so they each have to have their own little zone. It can be its own challenge. There we go. Just as many whiskers as you want. A lot of whiskers apparently today. Now, anywhere you're thick, don't worry because we're going to be coming back with white paint and we'll be trimming those out. I'm going to come here. And let's say he's going to have one right here. Dot. A little one that goes like that. I have no idea why I felt like his whiskers needed to be so frayed. But they did. Because these are probably magical antennas. We just interpret them as whiskers, but they're actually where he channels his mana from. You see what I did there, John?
I do.
I think also on top, besides a Disney artist, I also think I should be an official D&D artist.
I would be awesome.
Don't you think?
I do.
I think I'd be so good at it. I don't know that I would actually be good at it, but I believe that I would because I can do magical creatures. But I think I'd be the best because I would be teaching other people how to like paint their characters and do magical creatures.
How to paint a self-portrait of your character.
Yeah, seriously. Why? John knows this. He can verify this. I used to do this for people. Because they were like, this character. You would draw my character. I gotta draw my own character. What? I gotta draw your character. So when I have those black whiskers in, they're kind of... But if I very carefully and cautiously come back, see if I might have to do it like this just to have it. I can come here and define these with a white line, and it just really makes them pop. And I just go right on top, and the contrast of those two plays off of each other really well. If you're not a fan of whiskers, it's okay to skip this stage. A lot of people are great until they get to the eyelashes or the whiskers. And if you're feeling that way, the painting isn't going to be less because you didn't whisker it. I take things to where they make me happy, but you got to take the things to where they make you happy. Making sure I'm not dragging paint across the canvas. I have a tendency to do that. And here's what I mean. See how I went back there with the white and I thinned that little black part of the whisker?
Mm-hmm.
So it wasn't disruptive. I'm going to come here and whisker some stuff up. And I will just remember to do the top of the whisker. I try to always get with the top of my whisker and not end up somehow shifting to the bottom. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. It's a goal.
Whoa.
He looks like he could be like in the Dark Crystal or the Never Ending Story.
Someone was saying that earlier. He's a bit like Fizzgig. There was someone who said he looked a little bit like one of the characters from Farscape.
Oh, yeah. Love Farscape. I could be designer for puppet makers, Henson Studios. Yo, I can help you out. No. I am sure they do not need me, but I would show up where the call made. That's a call I would answer. Weird calls I would answer.
Do you need a puppet designed? Call the art Sherpa.
Exactly. All right, look at us just whipping through this gorgeous painting, right? And I mean, even if you don't do this, knowing how you might do it can be wonderful. Notice that I'm okay with my line breaking. It just means I don't feel like I've got to have like a continuous, just perfect little line across everything. Let's take him in for a second. Does he need anything? He's pretty awesome.
I think he's pretty awesome.
I'm going to go ahead and get my #1 monogram liner for my signature because it's my favorite signing brush. By the way, this probably would have been a very practical brush to do the whiskers with. What thoughts that you have after the painting is over?
It was interesting to see you do it with your one brush method.
Yeah, I just sometimes get like, I will not change a brush.
You get like, I don't want to clean the brush.
You know, with a good brush, you should be able to really stay on one brush like a lot of the way through. Now, what do you think?
That turned out really good.
Remember to get yourself this because it's really going to help you know where you're at. There's a lot of layers in this guide. It'd be easy to get lost in the painting. By using the step-by-step guides and the resources on the website, you're really going to improve your stuff. Now, if you want to share them and show us how awesome you are, there is a group on Facebook, the Art Sherpa Official. You can share there. You can also post your pictures and comments underneath the page that's linked here in the description where the traceable and everything is. You can even come by, and if I said 2 hoot and you're like, 2 hoot magoot, that was 3 hoot if it was a hoot at all. And come and upvote it. So we have a community vote feature. I rate it, and then you guys come rate it. And that helps people who come up and show up a year, 2 years later, have a really good sense of how hard it is. If you are kind enough to share your pictures on the website, you're also helping someone who discovers it online maybe get a good sense that they too can do it. So the more you share there, the more you leave cookie crumbs for those new artists that are waking up after you, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we're doing. We're getting everyone to wake up and get creative and start doing their own imagination. Oh goodness, he's so cutie cute. He's just okay. Things got weird today, but that's what we wanted it to do. Now here's the thing. Take a little time and be kind to yourself, okay? When you are kind, you are planting a seed. That seed will grow and one day it will bloom. It's not an instantaneous thing. It is not one and done. When we're learning to speak kindly to ourselves about our art, it takes a minute. So invest in it, cultivate it, grow it, nurture it. Be good to yourself, be good to each other, and we'll see you at an easel really soon. Bye-bye.